Welcome back to the cottage, everyone. Today I am sharing my top advice as a minimalist mom in the hopes that it can help you simplify some of your parenting load. Now, before I get started on today's video, I do want to throw out a huge disclaimer that I in no way am a mom that has it perfectly all together at all times. That is just not the case. But I am a mom of 5 children. Current range of age is from 8 to 15, so I've seen all the different stages from newborn stage all the way up to teenage years. And I am happy to report that through this time I have learned a few things. Some of these tips are things that I learned as I went through the phases, and others are things that I only discovered after we had already gone through that phase, and I wish that I had known back then. As they say, hindsight is 20/20, and since I've gone through them and I've learned these lessons, I want to share them with you as well. So the goal for today's video is not to make anybody watching feel like they're a bad mom or parent or a failure at what they're doing if they're not doing the things that I talk about in this video, but instead to have it be encouragement and a resource for those of you who want to simplify parenting a little bit. My first bit of minimal mom advice is to not let marketing distract you. This one starts way back in the first part of parenting, the newborn phase, and it really doesn't give up pretty much ever. So the sooner you're able to adapt this advice in your life, the better off that you'll be. If you are about to have your first child, and I hate to say this because I'm sure you've heard it many times, but your life is about to change. I remember Craig and I being told this and sort of brushing it off and thinking, yes, of course it is, but you don't fully understand how your life is going to change until that new baby is in your arms. Now, that's not meant to scare you, but it's meant to let you realize that this is a huge learning curve part of your life. These baby product companies really are preying on your vulnerabilities and insecurities and making you feel like you cannot be a good parent without their product, and this is just not true. This continues on throughout your child's lives. When they become toddlers, it's all about those educational toys and games and books that you need to have so that they can learn their ABCs and learn to count and all these things. And when they become older in teenage years, it's all about the cool things, the electronics and gadgets that they can have to, get themselves at even playing level with their peers. And all of this marketing just kind of comes at us as parents, making us feel like if we don't buy this product, we're going to let our kids down in some way. As a parent, be there for your child and recognize that you have been given all of the gifts and abilities that you need to shepherd them through life. And sure, sometimes these products can supplement that experience, but are they completely necessary? Absolutely not. Next, I want to encourage you to keep your child's bedroom as simple as possible. Sleep is one of those things that I think that most parents can agree upon is very important for our kids. And as a minimalist mom, I have come to appreciate and really understand how important it is then to keep those sleeping spaces clutter-free, simplified, and as calming as possible. For younger kids, that might mean not allowing any toys in the space because those could become distractions at bedtime. They want to sneak out of their beds and find those toys to play with. For older children, that might mean not having bright colored walls or lots of really exciting decorations all hanging around the room. Only you are going to know what works best for your child, and you may have to do some trial and error in this regard to find that perfect balance. For our kids, we have found that keeping things to a bare minimum is key. Our boys have a couple of hanging baskets on their walls where they have a few items within arm's reach, mostly books, that they can read before bed, but there aren't any other distractions there in their spaces. But then for our girls, they do have some toys that are on the far side of their room. They don't have easy access to them when they're laying in their beds, but they use their room sometimes as a play space, and so we do keep some of their toys up there. And so you kind of have to try some different things out and see what works for your kids, but creating that calm environment and making sure that they get really good quality sleep is really an important part of simplifying the parenting lifestyle. My third bit of advice is to give kids responsibilities. Even at a very young age, children are able to do small odd jobs around the house to help out. And I know as a parent it can be tempting to just want to take on everything yourself because you feel like you can do it faster or better or more efficiently. But really it's important for these kids to get practice and also to realize that they are a supportive member of the family and that everyone is working together. Giving kids responsibilities is beneficial for a couple of different reasons. First of all, it takes some of the burden off of you and allows you to focus more of your energy and your attention on the things that only you can do, such as maybe mowing the grass or cooking if you have small children who aren't able to use a stove or oven. And it gives them also this feeling of community and responsibility and realizing that they are needed, they are an important member of your household. So even though your teenager might grumble if you ask them to take out the garbage or to sweep the floor, you do give them the sense of knowing that you need them and they are helping out the family. And also once they finish that task, they will feel a sense of accomplishment, and that will be good for them as well. These are things that are going to set them up for adulthood, and it's important to start this from an early age so that they're not feeling overwhelmed if you suddenly decide to implement chores and responsibilities at home and they hadn't been doing it all along. So implement those responsibilities and help them know that they are a supportive member of your family and they are needed and they are appreciated. And for those chores that you decide to take on just by yourself, I suggest that you try to batch them and put them in the smallest amount of time frame as possible. The classic example here at our house is our laundry, and that is something that I do all on my own. Our children and my husband are only responsible for making sure that all of their dirty clothing items are in the laundry basket, and then one day a week I take all of that laundry and I do multiple loads in succession so that it ends up I only spend about an hour and a half for the entire week to do laundry for my entire family of 7. And this was a huge shift that I did. I used to do what a lot of people swear by, which is a load a day or a load whenever you have a basket full. And that just was stressing me out because I was finding myself always thinking about laundry and what's in the laundry, what's clean, and not knowing where everything was. And with this system that I have now, which I have done a full video about before, you can check that out down in the description box. I will have it linked. But it really does free up my mind throughout the rest of the week because I know that on one given day I might spend 1.5 hours, and that's really the only time I need to think about laundry. The rest of the time it's off my mind. I don't think about it at all, and it has been a huge game changer for us. I've tried this in other regards too. Sometimes I like to do batch cooking. If I know there's a particularly busy week ahead of me, I will make up a lot of meals and then we'll just heat things up that night when we are having our meals, so that it's a lot less effort on those busy days. And this really has worked really well for me. I hope that you can try out this advice in some aspect in your life. Minimal Mom advice number 5 is to limit activities, and I feel like this one might strike a nerve with some people. As parents, of course, we only want what's best for our kids. We want them to become productive members of society. We want them to fit in with their peer groups and to feel included. These are all great things, good life lessons. The problem really comes into play only when we feel like the only way that we can make this happen for them is to put them in every single sport and to join every single activity or club. A full weekly calendar of activities along with schoolwork can create an overworked and overwhelmed child who ultimately wants to give up on everything. As a minimal mom, the best advice that I can give on this topic is to let your child be the guide, but to also reserve the right to make the final decision when it comes to activities. Some kids want to try out more and they're more capable at juggling multiple tasks and multiple activities, while others really don't feel like they want to take on much at all, and they shouldn't feel pressured or forced to do so. I promise you that kids will learn social skills and ultimately find their passions in life, whether or not they are signed up for the after-school basketball program or the speech team. And likewise, enrolling a 4-year-old in a t-ball program does not ensure that they are going to make it to Major League Baseball as an adult. So the takeaway for this advice is basically giving kids opportunities to try new things and to experience new things is good, but giving them too much to handle can ultimately backfire. Next, I want to talk about how important it is to have routine and a reset every single day. And oh my goodness, how I wished I had known about this when my kids were very little, before we began our minimalism journey, because I've learned since then that kids absolutely thrive on routine. In fact, with the frontal cortex of the brain of a child not being fully developed, and I think that doesn't even happen until they are in their mid-20s, knowing what to expect from day to day is very important and helpful. Now, I'm not suggesting that you run a military operation out of your home. I'm basically talking about the general flow of the day and having the kids know what to expect next. So they wake up at a basic general time every single day. They know when to expect meals. They realize when bedtime's coming because there's a little bedtime routine and that sort of thing. The world can be really big, especially for those little kids, that knowing what to expect next gives them a sense of control and a sense of understanding of the world. And to help the daily routine move as smoothly as possible, I also recommend doing a daily reset in the evening hours. This is something we've actually worked in as part of our routine here in our home. Our kids, for example, will clear the table and wipe it down while I do the dishes, and then they will put away anything that they had out, maybe toys or books, and get things set up for the next day. This just really helps us in the morning times, especially, that everything is in order. We aren't scrambling looking for things, and it helps everything to move really smoothly. This is very, very helpful. I can't stress that enough, and it really doesn't take much time at all. And finally, probably the most important advice that I have on this list is to choose time over things. Goodness, as time goes on and our kids get older, I'm realizing more and more how quickly time actually does go by. It seems like just yesterday we had toddlers running around the house, and now we have one who's about to get his driver's license. It seems like it was gone in a flash. The season of parenting is fleeting, and I say this as much to all of you as I do to myself. Try very hard to cherish every single moment, even the difficult ones, and not wish them away. It's tempting to just want to get through a season of life that's really hard, but realize that this only will come once in your lifetime, and to really be present in the moment as much as possible. When it comes to times of celebration, often we are tempted to shower our children with gifts just to show them how much we care about them and also to make them happy. And of course, it's really exciting to see their eyes light up as they open a gift that they had been wanting, requesting maybe. But don't ever believe that that is a good replacement for any time that you could be spending with them. They may appreciate that new toy for a while, but they will remember the time that you spent with them so much more. They'll remember when you encouraged them if they were having a difficult time, when you were there for them when something was going wrong, when you celebrated with them with words of encouragement and excitement when they accomplished something that they set out to do. And this is really going to stick with them so much longer than anything that you could purchase for them. Well, I hope that this list of advice from a minimal mom was encouragement to you, maybe helped you to look at something in a new way that you hadn't thought about before, simplifying your parenthood and being really intentional as a parent. If you have a tip or an idea that you have implemented in your life that's working out great for you and your parenting journey, I would love to hear about it down below, and I'm sure anyone else watching would like to know as well. So go ahead and give me a comment. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope that you'll stop by the cottage again really soon.